Hey guys, what's up? My name's Shocker. I'm a Holy Paladin in the guild Tempered on Kargath. Today I decided that I was going to do a Holy Paladin glide series sort of thing. I'm going to do like parts 1, 2, and 3, and then each part's going to focus on a different area. Pretty much the other reason I'm doing this and not just putting it all into one video is because my upload speed sucks and I don't want to have an 18-hour render time on a 1-hour video. So basically this section of the guide is just going to be purely about talents and glyphs, and maybe a little bit of stat priority depending on how much time I've got left. So yeah, we'll just get right into it. So first up, I'll start with talents. The first tier of talents doesn't really matter a whole lot. It's basically preference based. I find myself using Speed of Light a lot more than I'm using Long Arm of the Law, as I'm not judging as much as ever. So Speed of Light definitely is the recommended talent for this tier, unless you're taking Pursuit of Justice because you want less buttons on your bar, but whatever. The second tier is all about CC. It's literally just pick what you want and go with it. Blinding Light, I find it's pretty good for Proving Grounds if you are into that. Repentance you can use really well on a raid, like a trash pack situation. Fist of Justice is just basically a stun. There's no real thing behind it, you don't need to go into it. The third tier, sorry, is all about this tier is everyone argues about this tier all the time, but currently at the moment, Eternal Flame is by far the strongest. The new theory crafting for Holy Paladins came out with crit making its way up the priority list. So, and Eternal Flame benefits a lot more from crit than it would from a haste build or a mastery build. So, you'll definitely want to go with Eternal Flame. Sacred Shield can be useful in different situations. Challenge modes, it's pretty good for challenge modes, but you will want to change your priority around a little bit. Both Eternal Flame and Sacred Shield benefit equally from multi-strike, but Eternal Flame benefits more from crit, and as a Holy Paladin you should be wanting to focus more on crit than anything else, so I'd recommend Eternal Flame for this tier. Level 60 talent tier is not really a big worry. Hand of Purity is good if there's like a big dot that you need to mitigate, but I don't see many Holy Paladins using this for any fights in Siege. Not Siege, Highmall. Jeez, I'm from 6 months ago, what am I doing? Clemency I find is a lot easier to work with as a Holy Paladin. You get two-handed sacks. Oh shit, the tank's taking too much damage, I'm gonna sack them both. Yep, so it's a really great talent. I'd recommend Clemency for this tier, just because of the double sack and double bop and double everything. Level 75 talent tier is basically all about your holy generation, I guess, or just basic healing CD. I've taken Sanctified Wrath out of preference. I haven't really taken, I've seen some Holy Paladins going with Divine Purpose, but then again it depends on how lucky you feel, and it can be useful if you can get like a string of procs and just blanket like a 20-man raid and all Eternal Flames and just sit there and lol at your healing being higher than everyone else's. Holy Avenger can be useful for a 10-man to a 15-man situation where you can pop it and have Eternal Flames rocking on pretty much the entire raid before a pull. Get a whole bunch of that mastery procking. So I would definitely recommend Holy Avenger for a smaller raid. I would take Sanctified Wrath for a larger group. I find that Holy Avenger will work really well with Eternal Flame. You can blanket the entire raid and absorbs before a pull, or you can, if there's like a big spike of damage coming out, you can blanket the entire raid and get some extra healing off on everyone. So because they just changed Eternal Flame to they changed this expansion to do the mastery procking again, so it makes it a whole lot easier to maintain up your mastery on someone that you've built it up on. Sanctified Wrath also makes you makes your Holy Shock a practical guaranteed chance to proc your Infusion of Light. There's a very small chance that it won't proc it, but it's very, very good to have, and especially if you've got above if you've got as much crit as I do, which is not actually a lot at the moment, but as soon as I get about 25% baseline crit, then I won't need to go into crit anymore, I can just go haste. Execution Sentence, I'm going to say right out, like flat out right now, is completely and utterly useless this entire tier. No fight situation would require you to take this talent, ever. Holy Prism and Light's Hammer is all about, those are the only two talents you will want to be switching from this tier. Light's Hammer is really good for a fight like Tectus, where you need like on-demand AoE healing. It works really well through Avenging Wrath as well. It does a shit ton of healing. You can basically heal an entire 25-man raid with it by yourself if you've got Avenging Wrath rocking. Holy Prism is really good for a fight where there's a boss charging to the raid. Like, the only fight that I really use, the only two fights I really use it on is Kargath and Butcher, because you need just an on-demand healing. But even then, Light's Hammer can come into play really well against Butcher as well, if you're stacking in melee, or even if you're just healing melee in general. So, I'll give you a list of the recommended talent swaps you want to do for this in the description below. Level 100 talents, really, because Holy Paladins are all about tank healing, you want to go with Beacon of Faith, simply because Saved by the Light, you can't put two beacons up and then have both tanks get the absorb if they need it. You can only do it, you can't shield the same person this way twice within 1 minute, so you literally cannot. It's not really worth using. The only time it would be worth using if the tank was taking excessive damage and the absorb would save their life. But if a tank was taking that amount of damage, you would actually need it to be proccing more than twice in a minute, so literally definitely worth taking Beacon of Faith over Saved by the Light. Beacon of Insight I would not even recommend, it's really weak. I haven't worked out a way to use it effectively yet, so definitely the Beacon of Faith. I'll just go over to a healing meter here. You'll see that Beacon of Light literally is my top heal, so the reason that Beacon of Faith is better is because you can have both tanks healed all the time, and then you can also have the you can just have a lot more healing out of it and have the tanks live a lot longer. Especially, like, I'll give you an example, Bracken Spore, while you're healing the mushroom you can have both tanks fully healed all the time because you're just spamming Flash of Light, so the amount of healing that it does is just ridiculous. Yeah, this is an optimal build, the build that I'm running, but I'm running a larger team, so it all depends on the team that you're running. Then again, if you're running a smaller team, you'll want to run Holy Avenger, no doubt about it. Sanctified Wrath can still be good for a smaller group anyway. Alright, I'll move on to Glyphs. Make this really short because I don't know how long this is going to take, but Glyphs for a Holy Paladin aren't really like a big thing. The only glyph that's really in dispute at the moment is Glyph of Merciful Wrath. A lot of Holy Paladins are taking it for a longer fight where they need it more often, such as like Imperator or Kargath or something like that, where there's a lot of spike damage all the time. Other than that, it's not really worth, like, it's not a talent glyph worth taking. But then again, it does come down to your style of raid and I guess the style of healing that you like. I personally don't take it because it's just a lot easier to heal, in my perspective, if I have a larger cooldown. I mean, yeah, it makes my healing numbers look more pretty, but it also keeps my raid alive longer for a period of damage where it's required. Merciful Wrath is only required if you've got a shit healing team, in my opinion, but if you don't have a shit healing team, then I wouldn't recommend the glyph, unless it's Butcher or something. Butcher's pretty good for it, but other than that, it's not really anything that you should really worry about. Hand of Sack is really like a required glyph, because of the amount of times you have to use Sack in this tier at the moment is ridiculous, so you don't want to have too much damage redirected to you and have you as your top heal. That's a little silly. Glyph of Flash of Light makes Flash of Light a little bit more worth casting instead of just spamming healing Holy Light, just because you can get a 10% extra heal off your next heal out of it. So I would I wouldn't highly recommend it. Then again, it's just glyphs are all preference based with Holy Paladins, but I would recommend it for if you just wanted to get a little bit extra healing out of out of a larger heal, get a bit more benefit out of the mana cost. So I use Glyph of Beacon of Light just because it removes this GCD on Beacon of Light, makes it my Beacon of Light easier to swap around. I don't have to wait like 3 seconds for the GCD to hurry the fuck up. So I would definitely recommend this Glyph so you can just swap around your Beacon if you need to someone else, say like a healer if they are taking excessive amounts of damage. Find that I do that a lot on Twin Orgron because everyone stands on fire. Other than that, like, you know, minor glyphs are really just nothing to worry about. There is another glyph which I don't actually take, Glyph of Divine Protection. This can be pretty good for a fight like Tectus, where you need like a personal cooldown for a tectonic upheaval, or like Twin Orgron for Quake or something like that. So, other than that, like, there's no real other glyphs that you really should consider taking unless you're like going ret. I will do a ret guide eventually, but I need to get the holy guides out of the way. Other than that, like, the biggest other thing is just working out a stat priority that works for you. I mean, there's a few different ones. The most optimal is Crit Haste, Multi-Strike. If I remember correctly, Versatility, Mastery, but it could be Mastery, Versatility, I'm not sure. Yeah, so most of the talents in Glyphs are all preference based. I would highly recommend, if you're, seeing as I've got a little bit more time, I just talked really fast, so I hope you guys can understand what I'm saying. Having a certain amount of spirit helps as well with a Holy Paladin especially. I myself only have 2 pieces with spirit on it, but I was sitting at around, oh no, I actually have more than that, but I've got this trinket here, the Winged Hourglass, so it's a lot easier to work with my spirit level. If you don't have the Winged Hourglass, then I would suggest around about 1200 to 1300 spirit, just because this take could give you a comfortable amount of regen. If you don't have a comfortable amount of regen, then yeah, I would highly recommend like getting some more spirit pieces, especially. Like, I am not running as much spirit pieces because I need the crit and the mastery, so but other than that, yeah, if you're running Winged Hourglass, then you shouldn't have any mana problems, and most Holy Paladins, actually all Holy Paladins should be running a mana potion, because we literally have no other, we don't have any other regen that's really that effective. I mean, you've got priests with Mindbender, and you've got monks with their Manatee, and druids don't have shit all regen anymore, and shamans have their crit resurgence thing, so Holy Paladins don't really have a actual regen ability. So if you're playing a Resto Druid or a Holy Paladin, I would highly suggest a mana pot. Very good. So yeah, I'll leave that part 1 of the guide there. I'll go into stat priority and gearing a little bit later. I'll do a part 2 of this video and upload it after I work out why the audio didn't work the first time on this original video. So thanks for watching. Subscribe, like, and share it to all your Holy Paladin friends, and I'll see you guys for the next video. Thanks, bye.